Lythrum salicaria, commonly known as purple loosestrife, is a perennial plant native to Europe and Asia that prefers aquatic habitats. Through cultivation as an ornamental and transport via boats, purple loosestrife has established invasive populations throughout the continental United States. Purple loosestrife spreads prolifically and crowds out native marsh plants, which has impacted Michigan's watersheds. Michigan's native marsh animals, particularly waterfowl, are impacted by this plant because it doesn't provide a source of food and shelter like native marsh plants do. In addition, watersheds themselves can become strangled by massive amounts of sediment trapped by thick loosestrife groves. Therefore, the effects on local food webs in Michigan's ecosystem due to purple loosestrife is profound. However, the use of two beetles that feed on this plant in its native range, Gallericella pusilla and Gallericella calamariensis, have been used successfully as biocontrol agents. However, beetles must be periodically reintroduced to continue controlling numbers if there is hope to prevent future takeovers of purple loosestrife and further impacts on the unique ecosystems and plant communities that exist in Michigan.
One major invasive species that is threatening biodiversity in Michigan's bodies of water is the submerged annual macroalga called starry stonewort. This macroalga has 4 to 6 branchlet whorls and blunt-tipped leaves. The plant produces mostly asexually through star-shaped bulbils that are produced at the nodes. They can reach up to 33 inches in length. They invade ponds, reservoirs, rivers, and predominantly lakes. They are a major problem in the Great Lakes, especially in areas where the water is more still, like near boat launches and marinas. This macroalga, compared to other macroalga, grows to much greater heights and forms dense mats that significantly negatively impacts diversity of other aquatic plants. It prevents other essential macroalga and macrophytes from flourishing. Additionally, the effect of this plant on aquatic animals is detrimental as well. They impede the movement of fish and their spawning activity. They also inhibit populations of macroinvertebrates. Additionally, their dense mats also affect water flow and recreational activities. This invasive species is native to Europe and parts of Asia and was first introduced to North America in 1978 when it was found in the St. Lawrence Seaway. The species is spread by boats, currents, and wildlife and only takes 3 to 5 days to sprout, making it spread very quickly. The preventative measures for controlling this species population is to monitor the already existing populations, have boat washing stations, and add in copper-based algicides that reduce size. It is important that we take action to slow down this invasive species before it has even greater effects on aquatic diversity.
Giant hogweed is a member of the carrot or parsley family introduced into Michigan in the early 1900s. Its native range is Central Asia. However, it's theorized its upbringing into foreign territories is due to it being used as an ornamental. According to Michigan Invasive Species Index, the plant is prohibited in the state. Giant hogweed can grow up to 14 feet tall and feature white, umbrella-shaped clusters of flowers spanning up to 2.5 feet long, with leaves featuring a lobed and incised design growing up to 5 feet wide. Omitting its invasive nature, the main concern of giant hogweed is its risk to humans. Giant hogweed ranks higher than poison sumac, poison ivy, and poison oak regarding its harm to humans, as its sap, when exposed to sunlight, can cause serious blisters on the skin. Regarding its invasive nature, giant hogweed grows most optimally in loose soils along ditches and stream banks, where seeds can be spread easily via wind dispersal. Large clusters of giant hogweed can quickly spawn from a single plant if conditions are properly met, eradicating its competition. Once giant hogweed is established in an area, it can take up to 5 years before it's completely eradicated. It's important that one can properly identify giant hogweed, as it shares many of its physical characteristics with other native plants, such as cow parsnip.
The tree of heaven is a fast-growing, deciduous tree that is invasive within the state of Michigan. The tree is grown in almost all parts of southern Michigan and are also grown up the entire western coast, bordering Lake Michigan. Some characteristics of the tree is that it has smooth bark, which can be spotted with colors from gray to brown, and leaves that can be up to 3 feet long. The tree itself can grow up to 80 feet tall. The tree is able to survive in poor soil conditions and do not require a lot of water, however they do require sunlight. The tree of heaven can be grown in a large variety of habitats. However, they are most noticeable when they are grown out of cracks of cement, such as patios, sidewalks, and even building foundations. Along with surface-level concrete, the roots of the plant grow very thick and dense below the surface. This can create many issues with sewage systems, as the roots are not easy to remove. The tree produces many seeds, which allows for plentiful reproduction. Along with many seeds, it also has very rapid growth, making them easy to take over an area. As far as inhibiting other plants, The roots produce a chemical discharge that inhibits most other plants from being able to grow. The tree is in fact so invasive that the distribution, trade, and sale of the tree have been banned in the state of Massachusetts since 2009.